Friends with friends, friends with friends, it's never going to end. Friends with friends.
I am not Mr. Lebowski. You're Mr. Lebowski. I'm the dude. So that's what you call me, you know? That or his dudeness or...
Friends with friends, friends with friends, friends with friends, it's never going to end. Friends with friends, friends with friends.
Admit. Is this really happening? Is this really happening? Can you see me? How's it going?
Started already. I'm making a tea, so I have something to drink.
Good. Well, it started. This is it. This is a no frills thing. I am on my 80th episode of Brett's with Friend with Mr. Peter Shinkoda, actor. Lots of other things as well, though, besides acting as well. Didn't you like do some producing and stuff like that? Or what's your nomenclature? What's your arc? What do you like to do?
Well, I always considered myself a storyteller since I was a child. So, aside from my acting, yeah, I'm trying to well, I'm pitching some things. You know, it's hard, and it's been over several years. A couple of projects that I'm trying to get interest in, just to get off the ground, but it's proven to be difficult. But the journey is the best part, they say.
Yeah.
But that's always in retrospect after you've already won the game, and then you look back and you go, "Oh, the struggle is real." But what about the people that didn't achieve what they were struggling for? Then the journey was actually just a torture. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm considering myself. I consider myself a producer at this point. There's some things that have a little traction. We'll see.
Nice. Should I wear the hat sideways like this, or like this, or no hat?
Charlie Brown with that hat. No, you wear the hat. I mean, I feel the same way about you regardless. So
Okay. So wait, I wanted to start. Okay, we had a soft opening. So some of these, how the armature of the show sort of works, what I think is fun, is that we do a past, present, and future.
Okay.
So let's go back into the past.
All right.
And I think it's funny to just because it's kind of funny to me. Do you remember the first time we met?
Yeah, I do. It was on La Brea at that Italian cafe where what's his name was bartending. Your buddy lives up Beechwood. John Tench used to live with him there. Anyway, so it was at that bar. We're all sitting around the bar, and you wanted to charge me for one of your T-shirts.
Yeah.
I said, "Are you fucking out of your mind, man?"
Hey, well, your cousin just bought a T-shirt from me that time. That
night.
I would have worn that on the red carpet. I couldn't sell a T-shirt. I couldn't give you a T-shirt for free after your cousin just paid full price for one. It didn't seem right.
My cousin meddling again, ruining opportunities. To tell you the truth, when I met you, I had a bunch of red carpets to walk, and I would have rocked it.
I know. In hindsight, but I was like, I only had I didn't have a lot of them. It was my inventory. You know what I mean? If I had if I had 100 of those, I would have given you 5. I would, but I only had
perfect
4.
Shirt
I had 4 shirts.
It's like a perfect shirt with a graphic to wear with the blazer kind of.
Okay, so I'll do this live. I'll do this live right now, and I will give you a shirt. How's that? I'll make a shirt for you.
What do you mean you're going to do this live now?
Well, no, you're saying it's not live. It's edited. But no, I'm saying it on camera that I'm going to give you a shirt.
You see that? You hear that out there? Hold on. I'm just going to grab my tea.
All right.
Am I allowed to do that? Or is this...
You can do anything you want, man.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm trying to find Here, I'll use my outdoor mug for camping. And I'll join you. Just really pour it and then... Jeez. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Look at that.
Nice.
Little camping action.
Nice.
What does it say?
True North Strong.
I am in Canada.
Is that a Canadian thing? Is that a Canadian company?
I don't know, man. I bought it in like a Bass Pro kind of a place. So
You're on the other podcast, True North King or Strong, and they give you a cup. That's what happened.
I don't know, man. I went and I need some, I need an aluminum cup for camping. That one looked appropriate.
Okay, so let's do a little bit. Because we got an hour, and I want to make sure we squeeze every fucking second out of this.
You got it. Going.
Well, it'll end like this thing will end at exactly an hour because that's what the free Zoom does. It cuts you off. Okay. So we literally, unless you want to come back after that, which is totally up to you, but we'll do that. I know you're busy. Okay, so what was it like growing up, Peter Shinkoda, like in Montreal? Like, can you give us a little clip of your childhood and your experience?
Sure.
And what brought you into acting originally? What when you got the bug and all that jazz?
Well, like every normal kid, you love movies. You love storytellings. I mean, you're kind of fresh face and you're absorbing everything, right? Especially entertaining, dynamic stories. So I got into movies, comics, as like every other kid does. Maybe I was more into it in an escapist way because I don't know. I was an Asian kid. I had my siblings, but I'm growing up in French Canada, in probably the most coldest inhabited place in North America. It's 90% French. And I grew up in the English section of Montreal, where all the English people get oppressed by the French. So I was a person of color in the English-speaking minority that's getting beaten down and literally kicked out of the province because of this whole referendum on what Quebec was going to be, either a French or an English province. So that's been going on hundreds of years. This French-English animosity, especially right there on the border of Ontario and Quebec, where Montreal is. So I grew up there, but pretty isolated. And amongst my friends, I had a really good time. It was a normal childhood upbringing. But it's where I am right now in Vancouver, it seems like it's 40% Asian. There's a little moniker that people affectionately gave Vancouver. It's called Hongkouver, Japanada. So here, I feel like I'm not an anomaly. I'm not a unique looking person, but growing up, my God, there was no Asians around, none. And except my siblings and a couple cousins that I had in other high schools or grades ahead of me. But, essentially I'm going into a high school with almost 4,000. I was, the first 7th grade, I went to a high school called Riverdale in Pierrefonds, Quebec. And it was the biggest high school in all of Canada, because Montreal was at once was the biggest, most populated city, if not one of the most important cities in North America, like New York. But I went to this Riverdale. Everything changed there. In elementary school, had a lockdown. I was really had my little small core friends in my elementary school. What was a big jaw-dropping experience was transitioning from elementary to high school. All of a sudden, we got like 16 elementary schools all going into that high school. So you know nobody except a handful of people, friends that went from your high school, from your elementary to that specific high school. So I had a handful of friends. But when you come in, then you're thrown into a massive population of people you don't know. Everything changed right there. I realized, oh God, there's racism. That's when it was biggest. And I hated that part. In high school, I went to a lot of high schools. I got expelled, suspended, and then eventually ultimately expelled from a few high schools.
Why?
And it wasn't my grades. My grades were excellent, if not top of the class type of grades. It was my conduct. In many ways, I'm still the same guy. I never really kind of, I don't get challenged. I'm not well at being challenged, especially if it's a racial challenge. It's like stems from the racism. I won't back down. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's an employer, an authority figure, a teacher, my mom, my father, aunt, a teacher, piano teacher. It does not matter. I have certain convictions, and I have a big mouth. That's what they tell me. Or I just have a very a distinct way of saying truth. That's what I like to say. It. A lot of people get away with let's say victimizing you with words. Like, I'll give you an example. I don't know how many teachers or people have said, "What is with you people? Don't you people get it?" I don't know how many times I heard that. I haven't heard much in the last 15 years, but growing up, I heard it all the time. And
Oh, that stings. That's gonna sting as a
it's the most racist thing ever. People didn't know it then. They said, "What did I say?" I just said, "What did you?" But you don't understand how racist that is. But anyways,
they might not even those guys, not to be devil's advocate here for a second, but those people are probably ignorant too. And sometimes those
anybody
people
that's
are
racist,
idiots as well. They don't know they're idiots.
well, that's right.
Stuff,
And it's tough when you're surrounded by majority idiots. Then you feel like you're in a place that just oppresses you. But for the most part, I had literally great friends. But there was this, isolated incidents where I felt the racism. One was a big one. I remember when I was 11 years old, I went to Boston with my hockey team. I'm playing, at the time it wasn't AAA. I'm just playing whatever, Pee Wee A or Bantam A or something. Remember I went to Boston one of the half dozen times I went there for a tournament or some cultural exchange. And I think it was the first time I went there to Massachusetts, and I got put up in a billet family. When you get set up with another player and then you stay with their family.
You mean like a foster home for a second or something like that?
Kind of like, it's called billeting. I don't know.
Okay.
It's kind of like an exchange. I got there, got assigned to some dude there, met the family, went to play the first hockey game out of like 3 or 4, pulled aside by my coach afterwards and said, "Pete, you're going to change your billet family." Why? Well, it was requested. What do you mean requested? I like that. And then he pulled me aside and said, "Listen, Pete, that's when that's when I knew it was real." Because the guy told me, "Listen, it's these people didn't." What is this? Because what I look like is because I'm the only Japanese guy in the team. I'm the only Pete. Some people like this. Okay, you're young, you can understand. He gave my first real sit down and talk about how people were, and I already knew. I just never really had a conventional talk about it. But remember when he said that, and I said, "Okay, I'm not dreaming then, man. I've been feeling it all my life." And I was only 11 or 12 then. But that's when I became super aware of how many microaggressions were happening to me all the time. And then my own group of white pals, they go off, and some of them are cool, some of them are not. But I'm just going, wow, in high school, you guys are all gods. You're going out there and I'm scrambling, trying not to get beaten up and around the corner. Well, you guys are, scoring all the hottest girls when we know you're not handsome, buddy. So it was an eye-opening experience walking into such a population that you didn't know. So I figured if I'm going, that happens all the time. You're going to a stadium, you're going to a place where you don't know anybody. That prepared me a lot for life. And I'm still utilizing the skills that I have.
I just want to go backwards for a second because I've known you for like a long time now.
Yeah, about 13 years.
And but like, did your parents immigrate to Canada from Japan?
Yeah, no, but no. My dad was born. My dad was born in 1937, 38. Down the street. I happen to be in Vancouver right now. Down the street in Vancouver, a little Japanese area called Powell Street. And
I've been through Vancouver once. It was fun.
Sure. Last weekend was the Powell Japanese Street Festival. It's the biggest Japanese festival in all of Canada. My dad said, "Take a lot of pictures, send them back, Pete."
Where's he at now?
Well, he's in Montreal.
Okay.
Well, why did my dad, a Japanese Canadian guy, born in 1930s in Vancouver, how did he end up in French Montreal? How was I born there?
That's the story. That's the question I just wanted to ask.
Once again, because we were relocated. Either go to the internment camps or go east of the Rockies. My father was he had a very affluent family here. The Shinkodas were doing very well in Vancouver. We had pharmacies and women's garment stores, 2 of them. We had a textile factory in Gastown here, the equivalent of millionaires nowadays. They were very accomplished and known family in Vancouver. In fact, my dad's uncle, who was my great uncle, Dr. Shimo Takahara, who was the first Japanese man to graduate from a Canadian university with a medical degree. I remember, here's a great story. He was running through Vancouver sometime, and I believe it was the 30s. and or maybe the 40s. He was running through Vancouver. My dad told me this, and because his whole family often recants the story. He was running home to his wife. He was newly married. He was like 24, 25. Cops pulled him over, harassed him for like an hour. Why was he running? Why was he running? Where you running? Where you going there, little buddy? Because I'm a doctor. I just graduated medical school at UBC. I'm running home to show my wife to celebrate. They didn't believe him. Shook him down for an hour. Finally, like things like there's no Jap doctors. No. Well, obviously they didn't see into the future.
Yeah.
Because 40% of the medical the field or the profession out there, from pharmaceuticals to surgeons, over 40% Asian in the United States and Canada. Of course, they're the best brain, heart surgeons out there, but nobody's running in the show or that wing. You know, that's where this glass ceiling is. Anyway, so Vancouver was being very Asian centric, even back at that time. It still doesn't, it doesn't protect people of color, specifically Asians. It doesn't protect them from racism, as you know. From I think 2019 to 2020, racism in Vancouver went up the highest in the world against Asians.
Asian hate.
717%. I remember the first attack.
We know who flogged that fire.
Oh yeah, we knew all about everything that's happening. I won't name names, but we knew everything. It's happening exactly to a T. It's happening to a T.
Yeah.
Remember that guy that starts with T? He started it all. And it's not like a mistake. It's not some kind of collateral damage. This was the plan.
Yeah.
It's called intimidation.
Just continue.
Shut your mouth, leave the country, or you're going to get beat down. It's going to be real hard for you, buddy. And it's the same tactics as the last 300-400 years against people of color. We've seen this before. Nothing's new.
Yeah, but so is your mother still alive too? I don't mean to pry, but
oh yeah, she is. Yeah, they're great. They're both very healthy and together, and they're in Montreal in the house.
Wow, that's great.
And it's more French than it's been in 400 years. Montreal. They're still trying to clear out the Anglos, but me growing up speaking English in a French city with my English friends, I'm like, I don't need this triple, quadruple squared to the nth degree, oppression against me in this freezing cold, super French city that doesn't like English speakers. Add the POC, add this face. So I left, my siblings left, they all live in Toronto, down the highway, 6-hour drive away. So they all live in English Toronto, and they're doing well. And my dad, he also comes from a stubborn old man generation. He refuses to leave our house. He's going to die there mowing the lawn or something. My mom wants to go live near her grandchildren, closer to my brothers and sisters. The old man is like, holy mackerel, no, I built this house. I'm gonna stay here till I die. It's like, and I'm telling my mom, you don't have to be. That's a form of misogyny. You don't have to listen to the guy that's. It's not 1960s. The breadwinner who goes to the company. That's long gone. Like your priorities are, you want to hang out with your siblings, you got limited time on this earth, you just have grandkids, go. I encourage my mom to go. You don't have to listen to my dad. But yeah, she is staying there like an honorable Japanese woman, catering to all his needs, making him miso soup in the morning. It's one of those cultural things, And she, to answer your question, is not Canadian. She was born, raised in Osaka, and then she relocated to the Japanese inland sea, the Salza little islands, little Shinto shrines on the highest point of the island. She moved to one of these islands, 2-hour ferry, because Osaka was getting bombed and strafed, with the bullets, because all the aerial attacks on Japan, even though it wasn't they're encouraged to unload their ordnance, or they're not going to make it back to the aircraft carriers, 20 miles out to sea. So they have to get rid of all the guns. So if they, before they hit the shoreline, they got to unload all them, they're just firing on villages and stuff. They're crazy. There's some crazy stories I heard from Japan from the war from my mom. She barely remembers because she was a baby, but her sibling, she was the youngest of 5. So they, my aunts and uncles on my mom's side, they told me everything about what happened, how their family was separated.
Horrifying.
One time walking downtown in Osaka, and like planes came down, shot up all these Catholic nurses. These Western nurses were dead. Everyone running, things were exploding. So it took 3 days to get home. Nothing was working. So my grandma on mom's side, bless her heart, never met her, but she cradled my baby mom, and everyone got scattered. So she humped it home 3 days later, made it to their town in the suburb with my mom, the baby, and all her children, all my aunts and uncles. They reconvened at that home 3 days later. That's the kind of chaos that happened. And I remember my dad, who's born and raised here, but he would go home, to Japan. His parents would repatriate him back for a year here, 2 years there. They did that a lot until he was at 25. So my dad was very Japanese in that sense, but he says, holy mackerel. Like, he's so Canadian with such a deep woods Canadian accent. And he does all the Canadian stuff. So he looks Japanese, but he sounds like Archie Bunker of Canada. I'm serious. In fact, he talks out of the side of his mouth like this, and he loves All in the Family. Holy mackerel.
Oh, my dad was a big All in the Family. My dad was fucking Archie Bunker.
That's what I mean. My dad is Asian Archie Bunker. Say it to his face and he laughs. He likes it. It's not even a secret.
Okay, let's talk about Hollywood.
Okay.
So you've been in the Hollywood situation for a while. You've been a working actor for a while. You've been on Falling Skies, Daredevil, all these different shows, Predator. Unfortunately, I don't like that Predator movie but you shined at the end. I gotta admit.
Oh, thanks, man. I was hoping I would set it up.
I used to work with Olivia Munn for X Music. She bought me. I was a camera guy with Tahisha, and I shot for fucking 2 years for free for that fucking place, X Music. And Olivia Munn was one of the VJs. Anyways, we shot with her a lot. She's super sweet, super funny. But she was, I think, dating Brett Ratner or somebody big at the time. But
I don't think
one of the X-Men people or something. I don't know. I try to equate Brett Ratner in my brain because the guy's ugh. Anyways,
they're associated in certain stories.
Yeah. But she was really super nice. Did you get to meet her?
I did not get to meet her because that specific movie, I came in from Hawaii. It was an emergency. On a Wednesday, they said, okay, well, for a few days, the reps were saying, listen, a big project. We don't know what it is. Casting has called us. They're considering you for this role. We'll get back to you. Meanwhile, I'm on a flight to Hawaii to shoot Magnum, the second episode of the reboot with Jay Hernandez. Literally, the first episode after the pilot. When I'm there, I shoot a couple of days, and my second day of shooting was a Thursday. But at that point, I was already trying to wrap that Thursday because the night before, I had confirmed that I got this role, and I was told what it was.
Yeah.
And it was Predator reshoots. So I found out that Shane Black had requested me and offered me the part. It's not because I'm the best actor out there. They needed a Japanese guy, Canada. I got an anthology of work. Really work as a local, blah, 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 blah. Where is he? Darn it, he's in Hawaii. But I agreed to do it.
But that's that's a kind of a cool, like, hey, he's in Hawaii right now.
Because I got an opportunity to see.
He's enjoying, he's
Well, Jay Hernandez really helped me out because not only was I supposed to shoot a Wednesday, so like a couple days before, we arranged to fly on a Thursday night on a red eye to get to Vancouver on a Friday, come back late Sunday night, and resume shooting Monday morning with Carl Weathers.
Nice.
Carl Weathers happened to be in Predator. Carl Weathers and I were.
He's a big guy. He's a big guy.
He's huge.
Look at us over this cafe, man. He looks great too. What the fuck is he
eating?
He fucking looks good.
I could not believe how big Apollo Creed is because when I met him, and I couldn't believe this guy is a truck. He's still in the best shape of his life, and
he looks better than anybody.
He looks amazing. What a gentleman! What a nice guy. I met him at 4 a.m. on Monday morning, lack of sleep in a monsoon when I got into my van on the next morning. So anyway, so Thursday I was supposed to fly out, but they changed my Wednesday shoot on Magnum to Thursday. I'm like, oh great. They just changed the day, like the day before. That's the day we arranged for me to fly out 2 days ago. We just arranged it to fly out Thursday. It's gonna be clean. I land Friday, shoot, come back Sunday night. Production doesn't know about it. It should be pretty clean. Get in and out. Thursday rolls. We're shooting. We shoot all day. We're shooting now. 9 o'clock comes around. Then 10 o'clock comes around. My flight's at something like 11:30, and I got to go through Portland because it was a last minute flight. So whatever, who produced it? 20th Century Fox got me a flight connecting Portland, 2-hour layover, then to Vancouver.
Oh,
so I have to make this flight.
They could have got you a private jet, for God's sakes. Come on, it's fucking Predator. Come on.
So I got to try to make this, but we're going. It's going. It's going. Then they do coverage of Jay Hernandez. They cover of TC and Rick, those guys, and I'm like, what the? Come on, man! I should have been out of here. We're supposed to be like scheduled to be out at 8 or something, and now it's 9, 10. At this point, I'm gonna miss a flight. I'm gonna screw over all the Predator if I miss this flight. So we're sitting in a bedroom in location, me and the Magnum crew. It was actually me and Jay Hernandez. I'm talking to Jay. Jesus, he goes, you look like you're under pressure, Pete. So I divulged to him what's going on. So he goes, I'm gonna do you a favor. I'm like, he goes, I'm gonna do you a favor, Pete. I'm like, no, I don't want a favor. He goes, hold it. Hey, everybody. He announces it. Director's there. She's there. She's not happy. Like right when he said something, he's like, what? Because Peter's got to catch a flight. He's gonna go shoot Predator. It's really important. It's at 11, so let's get a move on. Let's try to get him out. And then she went, who the hell did it? Director hated me from that moment. Literally, I remember went to shake her hand after she really just because of this.
Sassy.
Yeah, and I had some hair growth, and I went to Predator, and Shane wanted me to shave my beard. My hair was all long because I looked like some kind of crazy, Hawaiian. And they're like, we got to cut your hair. You don't look like a scientist in a lab coat. That's why my hair is so chapped up in Predator. It's all pinned back and looking stupid and bulky because they can slick it back and make it look like I'm an academic.
Your hair is perfect no matter what you do. Just stop it. Your hair is good.
Gracias.
So you want to see this shit? You want to see what's going on? You don't have that. You're doing good. Even Messi's good.
I'll throw a little powder on there. That's the old style. Bring it back.
It's good. Actually, this video is going to be from the very beginning of the podcast. If I do an animation of my hair slowly falling out during the course of the podcast, like all the different episodes edited together, that'll be hilarious. That's my goal, really. That's the goal.
Well, listen, you're going to see the time elapse of your hair overall. How many podcasts have you done?
You are number 80, my friend. The big 80.
I remember when it was -3, and you were just conceptualizing this and asking.
Well, this is actually, if we were gonna get technical, this is actually your second podcast with me, because you're on the one with Charles Zuck.
Yeah, I was just kind
of a cameo.
Yeah.
That was funny. That was fun. And also, Claude was on there at the same time as my Ed McMahon. That was a great episode. That's great. If you haven't checked it out, Charles Zuckerman's a photographer.
It was a very busy episode. All these people.
There's a lot of moving parts. Yeah, it was fun. So like I actually want to ask you about Stan Lee. If you could just tell us a quick Stan Lee story.
Yeah, Stan Lee is the best. I had many opportunities to meet him. First time I met him, I was doing Falling Skies. I had no association of Marvel or anything other than I'm like the biggest fan from Canada. Like the biggest fan. I'm a big comics fan, but Marvel was it for me. Spider-Man, Daredevil, growing up, Punisher too, Elektra. Literally, that was the Trinity: Punisher, Elektra, Daredevil, because I loved that run, which was the '80s run of Daredevil, and I met Stan through a friend Yuka, who was is kind of an assistant when he was working at POW Entertainment. Their offices are in Beverly Hills. So in LA, she invited me to go meet him and for lunch. And I jumped at that opportunity with my cousin, Eric, came along. And we went and met him. That was the first time out of maybe 5 or 6 times I got to hang with him. I met him at comic conventions. That I got invited to speak on a stage with him at, an event honoring Stan's lifetime.
What was he like?
Super nice. Oh God, I can't even explain how great a guy he was, Peter. Like he's amazing. Like the first time I met him, he held up a picture of Spielberg and himself. He goes, "Look at this." I got a picture of your boss. I met him in 1984 as I walked into his office. And where's your motorcycle? That's what he said to me. Because, you know, in Falling Skies, I rode a motorcycle and I had a bike and shotgun and guns and stuff. So I came in almost, this guy knows things about me. So I met him that time. It was great. I hung out.
Was it surreal? Was it surreal? Were you having an out-of-body experience? Or is it just like, oh, feels normal?
Yeah, a lot of people are going, are you in Wolverine? Are you going to be in Wolverine? Are you going to Japan? That's what everybody thought. It was
wish.
No. Wolverine got shot, and then Brian T, guys I know that were in that. And then a couple years later, they were casting an unknown show called Ringside, which was Daredevil, and you know, I landed that part. So it all came around. But I met Stan before, and afterwards I got to meet him, like I said, many places. One time we went up to an event at AT&T Park in San Francisco. We went up there, and they got me up there with Stan and a couple other people. He threw out a pitch for the Giants game. Yeah, it was Marble Day. So I went up there, and me and him answered questions. Listen, there's many times I hung out with him. It's great.
Okay. I'm going to interrupt you here because it's of the utmost important podcast exclusive, because I'm running out of time. The computer just told me I got 10 minutes.
Already? Jesus.
So that's why we want to ask you, would you come back for, can we do a quick break and we'll show one of your trailers for one of your movies or something like that in the break, and we'll come back for 10 minutes more? I'll just have to re-invite you unless you have to go.
No, we could do that.
10 more minutes? Okay, so we got let's do this. Well, about when this cuts us off, I'm going to re-invite you again, but it's going to take 3 minutes, all right?
Okay.
So let's go until we get cut off.
And then I'll go upload.
But is there with the working on sets and stuff again, and this is probably a shitty question to ask right before you go to a break, but it's working in the industry, seeing as many different ideas that are getting produced and not getting produced, and you know how everything's a different dimension right now with the way people consume their media.
Yeah.
Of lack of a better word, but to be straightforward, because there's so much, right? There's too much. I
believe that.
What's that?
I actually believe that there's too much content out there. We're looking for content. Well, there's tons of content out there. You want to be specific? There's shit content, that's for sure, out there, but there's a lot of content.
Oh, and they're gonna eat it too, because then they just check this out. They fucking pulled the Batgirl movie, and it was finished. It's $90 million. That thing's not gonna see daylight.
I used to work at Warner Brothers in post-production, so I kind of know them intimately. Apparently, I don't anymore, because I'm like, wow, they just threw that to Claptrap, Claude.
Claude.
I'm turning it off.
Is that Claude?
It is Claude.
Should we invite him? Do you want to invite him on the Zoom? No, we'll keep it. Well, this is better between me and you. This is better.
Yeah.
Claude starts getting in there, it's gonna fucking get reckless. We'll do. Claude's refusing to be on my podcast, but he likes to be on there if he's in the background.
Listen, I don't know what you keep calling a podcast. I'm on a Zoom call with a pal.
Well, this is a Zoom. Okay, true. So so with the different medias, and we're gonna run out here soon, but and we'll come back to it. Where do you? I mean, that's why we're getting more time, because there's a few questions I'm trying to smash into one question. Do you like where you see it going, like film and television, because they're kind of is cinema dead, or big like Avatar, big event movies the only ones that are people going to be seeing in the movie theater, or because everyone's got their own movie theater?
No. I'm going to ask you a question. Let me cut you off. You got to run on a question. No, I don't like where things are going. I hope that they smooth out, but in terms of my needs, writers' needs, the creative needs, a lot of ways this watered down media and pay channels and stuff have really diluted our pay in the form of residuals. Nobody this era of acting, all the creatives that I heard the stuntmen are going to be paid now. I get residuals too for people that coordinate amazing stunts, as they should, and the writers as well. I got a new email from Screen Actors Guild today. They actually moved forward, a platform that we all wanted. Anyways, yeah, it feels like, maybe up to the 90s with the DVD sales and the fewer channels. If you were an actor, or my stature, you can make an absolute killing, a great living. That doesn't exist anymore. It just doesn't exist. From the point, from the perspective, you sometimes a whole season of 6 episodes when they used to be 22, 23. You're forced to watch that on one of the 3 big networks. We have all these platforms now. Not all eyes. The days of 70 million people are watching, ER or MASH or something. That's over. You get like 10 million watching a show. That's something to jump up and down about at the networks.
Yeah, and so like the stuff that is getting produced is wildly over because they make it for so many different markets. They make it to be seen in China. They make it to be able to be universal.
Sure.
Like when I was on a plane a long time ago, in Brazil, I saw this video of Mr. Bean, and everybody was, that's Chaplin. Yep. He's doing Chaplin. There's no words, and the more universal they can make the picture, the movie, the spectacle, or you get like a $200 million movie. Yeah. You want it to be seen by everybody in the world, because you're going to make more money off of them than you are going to be doing the US.
Yeah. When everybody puts all their eggs in the basket just to make profit, you're shooting yourself in the foot in the end, because it's not going to garner like a second of revisitation to a sequel. If you're pandering to only certain people, you're going to alienate a whole other faction of viewers. So they're always chasing the buck. And are they making the right decisions about it? In my opinion, absolutely not. A lot of ways they're addressing some of the issues. Let's just take the way they portray Asians on film and TV. A lot of us in my community, the Asian American acting community, we all know that it's like the industry's claiming that they're being more diverse, but they're pulling every trick out of the hat, kind of like changing the picture on Netflix from like 7 years in Tibet. It's not blonde, blue-eyed Brad Pitt there. They'll put like an Asian monk on there, like a female. So it looks like the library, when you're on the pages scrolling, that it is diverse. And then you'll see a Squid Game, but you're going, is that diversity, or is that just an import like kimchi from Korea, which it is. You didn't diversify your Hollywood creativity here. You're just importing something, putting it up there and saying, look at how diverse it is. I don't know if they're really inclusive in the sense that they're bringing in a lot of my contemporaries, my peers that are here, English speaking, Western raised Asians, or they just employing people that have prefab careers over the seas, and or importing the already completed TV shows. To me, I haven't felt that much. If anything, I think since the release of Crazy Rich Asians, everybody says it's supposed to be getting better. I don't see it that way at all.
Yeah,
I see a lot of string pulling. I see a lot of smoke and mirrors. I see a lot of claim. I hear a lot of claims.
But those are commercial. Those are commercial entities as well. Those are the big.
Okay, I'll put another great example is you can do something like Pachinko, which was on Apple Plus. Okay, all Asian cast. It's up for Emmys and stuff. Even had an Asian American director on a few of them. Whole cast is from Korea and Japan.
Who's that guy that's doing all the Fast and Furious? He was the guy that did the horror films. I forget his name because I would never really watch those movies, but he got huge. He's an Asian actor.
Justin Lin, he's
huge.
American. No, I know Justin, and he's doing well. Yeah. He just left the last.
That guy fucking blew the fuck up.
Well, he did. Whatchamacallit?
He did those Annie Better Luck or something, or those horror films.
He did Better Luck Tomorrow. Was the first MTV acquisition in Sundance, I think 2001. It was bought for $1 million just after midnight. Then after that, he went on to do, I think, Annapolis with James Franco, and then he did. Okay,
we might get cut off here in a second.
I think he did Finishing the Game. I got you.
So then I think it's at like 7. I don't have my glasses because I'm getting old. but I think it's going to end in maybe one. I'll end it now. Give me 3.5 minutes to upload it, and I'll invite you back. All right. So get
Okay.
right back. Be right back. Do you want to introduce like a trailer for something, or interject like a video that we can put in between?
A video? I don't know.
I don't
gotta
know.
think about it.
Maybe I'll try to grab that scene from Predator and put it in there. Your scene, maybe.
I know where it is.
I
I even have it on my computer somewhere, but
I can get it. I can get it. I'm not tech savvy, but I can grab it. There's this thing called
right now.
My folks make sure I get a good breakfast. You know, plenty of fiber and all that stuff. Also, they buy me nice school clothes. They got me a computer, a video camera, a compact disc player. But the problem is, hardly any of this stuff can really help me with my schoolwork.
There is something you could have which would help you a lot. Do you know what that is?
No, but I'm afraid you're going to tell me.
Yes. It's the new Encyclopedia Britannica.
Encyclopedia Britannica. Now you tell me. I've got a report due tomorrow.
On what?
On the exploration of space.
Take a look at this. From the first beeps of Sputnik to the triumph of the Apollo moon landing.
Hey, I'm impressed. This way, I wouldn't have to worry about getting to the library. It's right in my own home.
Day and night.
All right. Well, since this has turned out to be a Britannica commercial, I guess you're going to tell me how somebody could get a set.
Actually, I thought I might, yeah.
And I suppose you're going to throw one of those 800 numbers up on the screen. Am I right?
Might as well.
And there it is.
To find out how you can own the Encyclopedia Britannica, just call this toll-free number and we'll send you this free booklet telling you everything you need to know about your key to the information age.
I'm typing it into my computer so I won't forget it.
Good. And just for previewing Britannica in your home, your family will receive this 3-volume desk reference set.
Do we get to keep it?
Yes. So if you would be interested in owning the new Britannica,
I'm thinking it over.
just call this number. Encyclopedia Britannica, the library that never closes.
I thought it was my key to the information age.
It's both, actually.
That wasn't so bad. Thank you. Welcome back to episode 80 with Miss Peter Shinkoda. Boo 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 boo. I'll put some. Okay, I know you got things to do. So what? But if we talk a little bit more about the state of affairs in Hollywood, and how are you consuming your media? What do you do to consume media?
Oh man, I got subscriptions just like everybody else. It's weird because you know, when you're hearing in the press people talking about certain new releases, it's not always the same. You know, in Canada, there's certain shows that I might be on that might drop onto a platform in the United States, but United States, you know, because of licensing laws, not everything is the same. The timing is not the same. I don't like that. It might change when I go over the border with my devices, and then I get the American stream. I'm not sure, but yeah, I have them all. I got the Amazon Prime. I got Disney Plus.
What's the last great thing you've seen?
I watched Elvis a couple nights ago.
Uh-oh. How was it?
I liked it a lot.
Yeah? What's the best thing about it?
Listen, you know, you and I at our age, we've seen 15 Elvis movies and miniseries and TV shows, literally, right? We've seen 15 of them. You know, at this point, you're like, I was wary, going, another one, it's like Marilyn. It's like another biopic, you know. But Baz Luhrmann has got a really deft hand and a lot of flair and you know, style and the production value. Put it this way, I used to work at Warner Brothers, right? 3 years ago, probably this year, I was visiting their post-production. I'm not going to name names. I went up to the editing suite, and my friend, who remain nameless, I went up and he was already cutting the first dailies, the first footage from Australia where they were shooting it. So him being a friend of mine from the 90s, I watched hours of dailies. So I had an invested interest, not only when it was Warner Brothers, I had worked in that department, you know, watching, you know, 40, 50 movies shepherded from, you know, from the beginning right to its release. So, you know, it was interesting to me to
so it kind of gives you that little behind it's like the backbone or the armature of it, and seeing what actually gets put on the screen.
I learned a lot. Well, first of all, I really enjoyed it. It was entertaining, okay, on all levels. The production value is super high. The editing was amazing. A lot of the transitions, the little It was filled with style, and it was meticulous with the little details. And
Didn't he do Romeo and Juliet as well?
yeah, he did that. Of course, he did. I think The Great Gatsby. Did he not do Priscilla, Queen of the Desert? Was one of his first ones. Moulin Rouge.
Yeah, that was right. I
Moulin
was watching
Rouge.
David Lynch movies when that movie wasn't even on my. I never seen that movie. I remember coming out at the same time I was watching like Blue Velvet or David. I'm a goth kid.
Blue Velvet's one of my favorite movies of all time. In fact,
fucking-
1986 was a great movie year. So
Genius.
3 movies came out that year that were
so
amazing.
so slow though too. So like if you go back and watch Blue Velvet,
The Harry Dean
every
Stanton.
scene is opened up. Like
Dennis
it's like it's just
Hopper.
like they're walking, and you have no idea where this camera's going to come.
That's the whole
through next.
thing, I'm a young teenager and I'm watching Blue Velvet. I don't know what was going on, but I could not take my eyes off of it. That's when I started to understand that I liked all genre movies, straightforward movies or these abstract ones that we don't, I'm 30 years later still trying to interpret it. But that 86 was big. What movies came out that year? River's Edge, Stand By Me, and Blue Velvet. Big year for movies.
And I saw all 3 of those in the movie theater. And
I saw them all in the theater, and all of them.
I hadn't even started smoking pot yet, I don't think. And those are my first moments where you kind of get like kind of psychedelic experience with a film or something that like makes you feel.
I mean, it wasn't soon.
We spend the rest of our lives trying to capture that as filmmakers or creatives. We spend that. I want to feel. That was the impetus or the inspiration was to that feeling again. We chase that dragon our entire careers, trying to create what it would feel like to see fucking Blue Velvet for the first time.
Nothing will ever be the same for me to watch movies again. I'll never capture that magic and the feeling of wonder as a kid anymore because I've seen too much. Behind the scenes.
Do you think there was a conscious decision for you as a child when you became an actor or wanting to investigate that you made a decision that you'll never see this if you do this route, you'll never see it?
I decided
like
by
this
8 or
again.
9. I already decided by 8 or 9. I already was telling people I'm lying to mom and dad. I'm lying. I'm not going to become a pediatrician or engineer. And if I do, I'm just doing it so I can get my papers to go down to Hollywood and become an actor. I literally knew what I was going to do. There are certain things like this illusion. Like in my yearbook, I said aspirations for life. I said win an Oscar, and I wrote that when I was 15 before the yearbooks, before they were published the next year. So, I knew a long time ago.
Did you do any theater as a child? Did you do any theater?
No, I didn't do high school drama or anything. On the side, I paid for acting lessons in a synagogue that I saved up for. Delivering papers in blizzards at 5 a.m.
Canadian blizzards.
Yeah, literally pulling one of those radio flyer wagons with a BMX and a skipping rope tied to the wagon. It's 5 a.m. It's pitch black, and we got the DEFCON 5 blizzard out there, and I'm trudging through the snow like it's goddamn Empire Strikes Back on Hoth. Frozen feet. I'm only like 14 and stuff. This day. It sounds like back in my day, I remember but seriously,
you actually
nobody does that anymore. Now you got a bunch of guys driving around 5 o'clock throwing bundles of things out of a van, or nobody buys papers anymore. But you certainly wouldn't put your 12, 13, 14-year out there at 5 a.m. to deliver 100 papers 6 days a week, 5 years in a row. It's just it's child cruelty.
But you have it obviously helped. All these little things help in creating the person you are today. I mean, you're no bullshit
built a
kind
lot
of
of
guy.
resilience, character.
It's going to be a long time before somebody makes you do that job again.
Well, because
what's going to be funny is that you'll end up doing a movie where you're doing that. I'm predicting in the future, just like fucking black sky, like
everything I did in life was to get to Hollywood.
Yeah.
I drove to Hollywood and back to Montreal. That takes 5 days one way. I drove from Montreal to LA and back 4 times before I was 22. And so I'd stay the whole summer, like 18 years old, I stayed the whole summer on a car that I found in the paper. Some girl needed her car delivered from Montreal to San Diego. So She would pay for gas. I would drive the car. That's how I got to LA.
Nice.
And I would do it again the next summer, and then the next summer, and I'd be taking classes at UCLA or wherever, private acting classes, UCLA Extension acting classes. I would do anything. I would immerse myself. I would go there and I would, take the headshot. I would literally walk around, and it was like the 80s. I'm still going to Stephen J. Cannell Productions on Hollywood Boulevard, dropping off some cheap headshot I got done in a mall.
Oh, the headshot.
That's how much drive I had. I'm literally going there at 17 to LA in the 80s.
Fever.
Whereas a lot of my peers, I'm going, where are you from? Oh, he's from San Diego. Oh, where are you from, Asian buddy? I'm from the Bay Area. Oh, where are you from? Atlanta. Oh, you're from real far. All of them just had to jump on a Greyhound to get there. I'm literally going over the border, probably breaking all kinds of international laws and defying parents and saving up money, applying for visas, student visas, all,
You're like when you're in Hollywood and you have to drive to do an audition at 2:00 or 1:30 or 2:30, and you drive for an hour and a half.
Not that I ever
for
had
a fucking 10-second thing.
Yeah, I'm not that I have 5 auditions a day, but I have friends that sometimes have 5 auditions a day in LA. The certain type of guy, so they're in demand. And you're like,
no, but this is like, I'm talking like 1997, 1998.
Oh, I was already in LA. I was living in LA the whole 90s. So
that was a bullshit thing right there, man.
That was bullshit. It was also bullshit because there's not many Asian actors in the mid 90s. There was just Jason Scott Lee, who's one of my best friends, and I got to know him and got close to it. He, in fact, retired in 99 or 2000, moved to Hawaii, said, I'm never acting again.
Because that's not a bad thing. I think what's funny about this whole acting thing, and that, or even in any profession that you're wanting to, well, I think uniquely to the arts or acting. Actually, now I'm saying out loud, but it's mostly for acting. People are they spend their whole lives, right?
Yeah.
And some die and come and go, and the wave of the way people work towards this line of fame or celebrity or whatever that constitutes, that of whatever is in the mind. It could be fame, it could just be wealthy, it could be both. But to seek a fame thing out, it'll only last like a minutia of
it doesn't matter.
The 25 years you put into it. And then you get that look at Brett Butler, that comedian actress. Like there's a million stories about people that were.
Okay, let me get a word in here.
Okay.
Because you're trying to interview me, right? So
yes. But I want to bring that point up because it's interesting.
Well, I was talking to our mutual friend Michael Benyer about this the other day. A certain fellow, one of the last living legends, Hollywood, died within the last year. Mr. Kirk Douglas, who once was the biggest star in the world, talking decades, was the biggest star in the world, up there with like Gregory Peck and stuff, Burt Lancaster. Tough guys. Weren't they in the Tough Guys together in the 80s when they threw them together, robbing trains one last time? Anyways, if I say Kirk Douglas, nobody knows who he is. People barely know who Michael Douglas is now, these new generations. And I'll be like, that's goddamn Spartacus. I don't know who the old man with his, frozen faces. That's what kids are saying. That's Kirk Douglas. You can reach the height of Kirk Douglas, but a few years later, after the heights of your career, nobody knows who you are. You can be Kirk Douglas. Nobody knows who he is unless you're our age or older. Our generation is the last person to know or watch a Kirk Douglas movie.
Yeah.
Right? So you can be Kirk Douglas. It doesn't matter after you die. Nobody's going to remember you. You're just an actor in a footnote in a list of things that happened, in that year. So I'm trying to come to terms with who gives a damn about acting. Live your life. Even if you hit the heights this week, next week, 2 weeks ago, at one point, nobody's going to remember you who you are. So enjoy the process, the journey. Because whether or not you hit the heights that you dream of, the superstardom, or you don't, nobody remembers you in the end. And that's a fact.
Really well, the happy is in the doing, right? The happy,
exactly,
the making of it. Like when I finish a painting, it's done. The making of it was the fun part. Whatever the result is the result.
Yeah,
And that's
as much
like
as
the fun is in the doing. You're not gonna care when you're dead.
as much as there, people like to focus on the not being able to get jobs and stuff. The dynamic of the going up and down keeps you interested. You know what I mean? As opposed to being completely winning all the time, it'd be kind of boring, right? You want to feel the highs and lows, the peaks and the valleys. So a lot of these actors that come, go, drop off, come back, and those are, I think, probably more personally gratifying than just to be the best all the time. You know what I mean?
That's
and
not sustainable.
there's only a few of those, and it's
You
a long.
only very rare Meryl Streep, very rare
Exactly.
Tom Hanks, very rare. Even people want like Harrison Ford is kind of doing the right playbook, man. He does a movie. Nobody knows too much about his personal life. That's cool. He does a movie when he wants to, or for Star Wars, he fucking got probably. I'm sure he did. They probably paid a.
Look, he didn't want to do that.
Penny for that.
He didn't want to do those movies whatsoever. He thought they were a joke at the beginning. He came in as a casting director's reader. They said finally, after many sessions, they said, "Hey, Harrison, how about how about you try out the Han Solo role?" You know what I mean? That's how on the ball people are in casting.
Well, it's always that funny George Lucas thing about that Star Wars thing in particular is because they didn't give any merch rights to the actors.
Did he give any? I don't think anybody was. I don't think any.
No, George Lucas knew. He's all okay. I'm gonna pay you guys.
The actors
didn't get any merchandise.
The studio didn't even know.
All.
The studio didn't even know. Who cares about one actor? The studios are the ones that are supposed to have the best lawyers, actuaries, scientists. The biggest money grubbing hands. That's in their interest. They sold it out. They went, yeah. Take those.
It's cool. It's cool. Yeah.
Then they're laughing. They didn't learn their lesson because a decade later, Jack Nicholson did the same thing with Batman. I'm like, do they not know that?
Didn't Jack Nicholson get like back end on that?
Yes, the merchandising. He knew the Bat shirt was going to be the biggest piece of wardrobe for teenage boys for the next 10 years. So he made like 80 million. I think 20 million was his fee.
No, sure, Jack. Do you really want? Yeah.
In that 10 years, Hollywood did not realize yet. In that 10 years, Hollywood did not realize yet that their own movies are just mere little commercials for the profit of the merchandising.
Basically.
That's why they can do a half job on like Transformers, and they're still moving Transformers. They're just the commercials.
So what are you looking for? Like, what are you working on now? You're in Vancouver. You're are there anything projects that you're doing right now that they could talk about or that you'd like to talk about?
Nope. Because I'm not currently attached to anything except this one thing in Spain, and that goes. I want to do that. That's contingent on casting a certain person in a certain role. So that's been just sitting there in limbo. I'm up for a very big project right now. I'm going to find out in the next 2 days for something that I cannot discuss. This also has an alias for the production, so I cannot discuss it, but I do want that part because it's massive and it'll be seen by everybody on Earth. But aside from that, no, I'm just kind of chilling. I'm really anticipating eagerly the Canadian West Coast salmon season. It starts like next. Through the pandemic, I became very involved in salmon fishing. Not cheating on a boat, trolling with a bunch of dudes on tour. I'm talking metal to metal.
Like how so? Are you in the river or are you in the?
I'm literally standing in the river, man.
What are you doing over there?
Standing in the rapids. I'm standing in the rapids sometimes with 1,000 other fishing because it's salmon season. But the rivers are long, so I'm trying to find. Sometimes I'm solo, alone in the woods. Sometimes I'm with buddy fishing. But the salmon run starts September, so it goes all the way to November. And where is it best to fish in the world for that? Best fisheries are in BC, Canada, West Coast, and Washington, a little bit of Oregon, but California is pretty much.
Yeah, I guess same.
Pretty dusty. Pretty dusty those rivers.
LA was a dust bowl. Did you see that thing? There's a recent thing that LA might be
mega flood,
like monsoon or something like that.
Yeah, mega flood. They said every like what?
Is that bullshit, or what do you think about that?
No, I think it's absolute science. We see we see the meteorological models, and we got professionals on it. Listen, I don't listen to a bunch of people, talking out their ass. These are meteorologists. They're scientists.
For
Trust
God's
them.
sakes.
They build computer systems and algorithms to predict the movements.
They're
which
the
is-
smart ones. We listen to them.
yeah, that's why I turn off most. That's why I deactivated my social yesterday. I'm just like, there's a lot of chatter out there, but none of it's intelligent. I just can't. So yeah, I seen it. And the craziest thing is you see it as a headline. It was put out, I think it was on CNN, but every major paper in North America, everyone put it on their front page, like in 48 hours following that specialty article, thus ratcheting up everybody's paranoia.
Well,
But
God, that I've been
if
worried
that's what will
like
come out of it, it's not going to become like it's not going to make proactive people fighting the environment. It's just going to make people scared because
dude, if an earthquake hits fucking LA, and I'm not trying to be probably if that place gets hit by a major earthquake again, it is gonna not look good.
No, it ain't. And listen, and LA is one of the newer cities with retrofitting and the tectonic, the tectonically sound buildings.
It's built on a fault line.
But we all know the infrastructure in the United States is dilapidated. These are old buildings, man. And when the next one, listen, I was there in the 1994 quake, the Northridge quake. I was living in Venice Beach. It was crazy,
nuts.
I never felt that kind of. It was like so unnerving and scary. I felt like puking because I was just like the shaking would not stop, and I hear car alarms going off.
Where were you? Were you inside or outside?
I was living right on the oceanfront walk.
Were you outside or inside? Did you go outside?
I was inside. It was like 4 a.m, man. I just had two girls that me and my friend.
Rolling? Was it rolling?
No, it was more one of these. Like me and him had shared a room in the back of this one house on Oceanfront Walk, right on the Venice Walk. Like we'd sit there with a keg and hit on girls walking by or watch Baywatch filming in front of us.
Perfect. It was a good time.
Yeah, they tore that house down. They built this, this Art Deco concrete, massive bay window house there. But in that earthquake, my ceiling was torn open in like 4 places. We had 16 buckets for 2 months. My landlord did not fix it. So we just moved out, didn't pay the last month rent. We're like, you're not gonna fix this. You gotta fix this. Two months we're emptying 16 pots all around the apartment. And anyways, yeah. So we had come home from a bar. We brought some girls back that we had met, and we didn't play our cards right. They leave. 4 a.m, we're laughing about it, pretty wasted, and I'm like probably 20 or so, 22 or something. Anyways, I'm lying there. We're kind of like nodding off, but we're opposite sides of the room, but parallel, like 2 twin hits. Then, boom! It was like this. It's like it wasn't going like this. It was like this. Just see where these two
like
walls,
split
it was like this.
It's probably the sand.
It would go like this.
And the whole thing's sand.
And then I got thrown out of my bed. The
Nice.
wall came like this, boom, hit me so much. I'm flying it. Then it went back. I flew out of my bed onto the ground. That's the kind of the pressure and the power of it. And things were going like this. We ran outside. It's pitch black. Just thousands of people on Speedway, the alley there off the boardwalk. And I lived like a block away from what was that? So it's that building. I think Jim Morrison lived in it. But you see my house in the Doors movie a lot when he's walking around on some rooftop in a black and white.
Oh, it was in the Doors movie.
Yeah, the Doors movie. And then,
I was in it.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Jesus. Well, lucky you.
I threw
I
that.
mean, I was in LA.
I'll see. You know what's it'd be funny to do is to try to see if I can grab that scene. I was in the Haight-Ashbury scene, and I remember when they filmed it, I was dressed as a sailor, and this is in the outside the Haight-Ashbury in.
So they actually filmed it in Haight-Ashbury.
No, yeah, well they did. Oh yeah, they filmed all that. You remember that 16mm footage in the Doors movie, where they'd do the montages of the locations with them. It looked like movie picture, like home reels.
Kind of, sort of. I'm trying to remember where in the movie.
I'm the sailor in it. And I get the longest shot in the montage.
I haven't seen it in 20 years.
I was actually okay. I'm gonna just because I'm throwing it out there because I'm actually on the back of the album.
Of which album?
The Doors soundtrack.
Really?
Yep.
I'm gonna pull that up later.
I know. I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna pull it. The original. As things progress, I got blurred out or photoshopped out. But I was in the background. You know, the back of the legs. They show it's a freeze frame of him in the air. I'm the guy below his feet.
Oh, was that a concert?
Yeah, was that they shot that was a scene during the Doors movie. They shot that the Fillmore, I think. They shot it 2 different ones, but that's one.
Is the scene where he gets arrested or he drinks blood?
Yeah, but they do the back of the album cover is the him jumping in the air. Yeah. It's a slightly blurred video like that with the mic, and I'm the guy below the screen. I'm below his feet. I'm the only guy you see.
Great movie, man.
That was so much fun to be on set. Dude. I was hanging out with Oliver Stone and Robert Richardson, dude. It was crazy. Everybody was on mushrooms. It was nuts.
Oh, while they were shooting.
Dude, it was shot in San Francisco, all cameras blazing. Robert Richardson on like his game.
Yeah, Oliver Stone, I heard he loves the shrooms and shoots on shrooms.
Well, I don't know, but everybody, I think Oliver Stone, everybody, I felt like I was high. Anyways, ILM came in to do some special effects. They're gonna make the crowd into, morph it into a Indian's profile. You know, one of the Indian.
Sure. He had
they're gonna morph it into the crowd, but they never used that shot. But I mean, anyways, it was fun.
Too difficult to transition your mug into an indigenous man's mug. I don't know, like doing because he looked out in the mirage all the time, right? Yeah. That was a recurring motif in the movie. Right when he was a kid, he's looking out and you can see like a powwow going on. So, yeah.
People were volunteering. They said if anybody wants to be naked in the scene, we'll give you an extra $150. Meet us at the tent. That's how they get all those nude shots of all those people. Those were.
I don't even think that would fly anymore.
Probably not. But they did.
We need a intimacy coordinator for background.
No, everyone's high out of their mind. They were rocking. We were rocking. The music was fucking pumping out those speakers. Dude, like an actual fucking concert.
It was 91 when they shot that, something like that. Right?
Probably 90. That seems about right. That's something like that. I ran into Val Kilmer too. That was fun.
It was great, and that's reminiscent of this of the actor that played Elvis. Wow, what a great job! I don't think he necessarily looks like Elvis, this young actor, but my God, for such a young actor to play, Elvis from 17 or something all the way to 42, 43, it's incredible. This young actor pulled it off, and the performance was amazing. It was just amazing. It was like blown away. I really enjoyed it. I was very worried that I was not going to enjoy it, but then I couldn't take my eyes off. It was almost a 3-hour movie, but I loved it. Then I listened to Elvis all night, and then I watched more Biles and fell asleep. Well, I feel like
hold on. Hey, take a card. I'm doing an interview right now.
Whoa.
Sorry. I'm still tracking you. Somebody was looking at a painting out here, so I had to give him a card. That's great character work then. This guy, and he has the pipes, and he did the I'm
not sure if he was singing or not, but
I think he's singing it too.
I'm just going, man, listen, the guy had so much camera time, and it runs almost 3 hours, and he's pulling off a performance, an imitation of a guy that the whole world knows, so we can easily scrutinize him. Everybody's all eyes on him, right? And I've watched him.
It's big role. It's like being phenomenal. It's like playing Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and the guys with the even going Jesus Christ, we can he's open for interpretation, but we never met the guy. We don't have any footage of him. But Elvis, we got thousands of hours of footage. So I was impressed, man. This actor was amazing. Just amazing. And I heard, he's a young cat. He's probably like 21, 22. Blonde, blue-eyed from Orange County. Like that's so foreign. It's a world away from Elvis. And thinking about the youngness, he never.
That's crazy.
Heard about Elvis.
Then a good writer will support.
He was good. I'm just going, wow, man. That's a real talented young actor, man. He's going to get an Oscar nomination for sure.
You think?
Oh, he should. Yeah, well, listen, the Oscars. I don't take them as seriously as I used to, as I did when I went to them live in 1998. I
was always a Golden Globes kind of guy.
Into those too.
I like the Golden Globes better. I think there's a little bit more, but I don't know if even people like even that ceremony anymore. It's so weird how everything's.
They don't even televise it. Tom Cruise gave all his Golden Globes back.
What? What do you mean?
He shipped them back to the to whatever, the Overseas Press Association.
Why? Why did he do that?
Because he knew the voting was all screwed up. Everything's biased in Hollywood.
Have you ever been to the Scientology Institute over there?
I have. To the
Did you
entrance.
go inside?
No.
I went inside.
Well, I side-eyed that thing as I walked by. I'm scared. I have Scientologist buddies and stuff, but you know, I don't want to
I
ruin
took a tour like a long time ago. It was
Listen,
hilarious.
everybody
People loved
does.
it.
It's almost like going to the Magic Castle. You go in, you get freaked out a bit because you're in LA, and you say, "I've been there," but I did not go to the. I don't want to put electrodes on me. I don't need people.
I think it was funny. At the time I was like just new to LA, you know, I was like,
Oh, listen, everybody I know in LA is pretty much gone through there. I just happen to be an anomaly. But it's an impressive building, and certainly they've helped, you know, specific people through Hollywood. That's clear, you know. But they got, I don't know, they got their share of controversies going on, unfortunately for them. But
yeah.
there.
Who are the actors that you're looking okay, this is kind of a funny question, but like who are the actors that you'd actually like would love to work with? Like that you haven't worked with already, that you think would be in a scenario that would be, you know, fitting.
Love to work with. Are you asking me who I want to work with, literally in a narcissistic way? Who do I want to see on screen up there with? Because you know,
or like just because of the integrity of their work or how the character is,
or do I just
you know,
admire them as an
actors?
actor?
Yeah,
Because there's some actors that I admire and their skill is so high, I'd be like, it's pretty daunting to be on screen with them. I don't even know if I can hold my own. But you know,
but I find that people like elevate themselves too. Like even in this silly little scenario that we're in,
okay,
like you're elevating me, and I'm feeding off of your you know.
I would like to emulate a career like Willem Dafoe, but unfortunately, I'll never have the you know the diverse opportunities like he has to play anybody in musical Streets of Fire, or you know.
Oh shit, that's a hardcore. That's
you know, or
that's
you
like
know,
Brando shit.
Right, or the Passion of the Christ, or you know the Lighthouse, or you know, your Green Goblin. I'm never gonna get those opportunities. I could live for another 100 years, but looking the way I do, I'm not gonna get those opportunities.
But you can create those for yourself, right? You're an artist. You can create a project like people that are the most successful in our industry. I'm not trying to take you up on. Are the people that create their own projects as well?
Yeah. The hard thing is I can't have 25 canvases. I got to work on one thing, concentrate on that, or I water myself down. So I concentrate on one and push that, and I'm still like years into pushing that. Otherwise, I'd love to snap it and make, you know, a crew appear there and let's do some experimental filming. And
we would love to do that.
Like Willem Dafoe here. I'm going to emulate that career, but I don't have the resources nor the time to do that. But I would love to have a career like his. I also look at James Hong, and watching that guy with great humility work for the last 50 years of his life doing thankless jobs, and then all accumulating to just an epic performance by James Hong in Everything Everywhere All at Once, which I saw.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about
Oscars all over it. If there's no, they don't win Oscars, then just.
So I saw that, and it's the best movie I've seen probably in the last like
in years,
5 years or whatever.
In years, that's so much.
It made me like movies again.
So much performance. Michelle Yeoh, best actor nomination. She should get it. Best actress. Okay. Ke Huy Quan, he should get best supporting actor, and James Hong, and even maybe Jamie Lee Curtis too. You should get a best. It should win best editing.
It was filled full of fun stuff.
It should win best editing. It should win best
wardrobe. It should actually just win everything.
It should win best production design.
Listen, I love everything about this movie.
I'm going to explain to you. You got one scene with the daughter is walking down the hall. The strobe lights are going off. She changes 18 times and delivers a monologue as she's going down the hall. And look at those outfits. I don't know what they were, but somebody created them. And there's like 18 different changes outfits, and then the editing had to be seamless. with the timing of the light strobing and stuff. You know how hard that is? The last time editing was done that meticulously was in the Jim Carrey movie, where the house disintegrates and he's with the girl from Titanic, Unbearable Lightness. What's that crazy Jim Carrey movie?
It's the you mean you're talking about like fuck, come on, it's got Kate Winslet. It's
yes,
Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I don't know if it won the Oscar, but that should have. People don't understand the time consuming, the
People don't care about the time it takes to make something. They just want to see the thing.
incredible. I was watching it. It should win Best Editing right now. I think
It's
Michelle Yeoh.
psychedelic.
I think Michelle Yeoh will take Best Picture, Best Actress. She should. I've never seen. Listen, she's playing, a dishwashing immigrant. That's a sad sack. She
Well,
balls.
the plot devices, and I'm not giving any.
Everything's
away,
amazing.
everything connects.
And it all connects beautifully at the end. It has such a beautiful, happy ending, just like Hollywood wants.
Well, it's also very I love, who's the gentleman that plays the main lead male from Short Round?
Ke Huy Quan.
I can't roll my R's, but that guy, because I can't pronounce his name to give it justice, but man, that fucking guy
was amazing.
Take the shit out of that part.
Amazing. Remember at that point
where
he's in the opposite universe.
All of it.
There in the rain, and he's talking to her, and he goes, "Maybe we have a chance." And then as he walks away, and he's cool as hell, just slick. We could have did something, It was great to see you. He walks away in the rain. She stops him and turns around.
Beautiful.
Whoa, crying, man. I was like, this
guy.
It's make him the squirmy little guy and head of the class and a bunch of thankless other things.
And that actor's got so much charisma. He's got so much he's
incredible.
He's spilling it.
The guy was sexy. He was a gentleman, suave in the other universe. Then he plays this other
vulnerable,
very lovable, but kind of like a nerdy kind of husband who has all the heart in the world. Listen, the performances were there. It was amazing. The daughter was amazing too. But listen, James Hong was incredible.
James Hong was great. It's even as good to see him on screen,
He does all these thankless roles of the guy with the accent, This one, he literally is playing a character and different versions. My God,
Okay, our thing might end here in about 4 minutes, I think, or 3.
I would love to.
Do you want to call it a day?
You know what I mean?
What's that?
I would love to be in a movie like that.
That's what fucking
not
great.
necessarily
the Trouble in Little China. Classic. Killed it.
Classic.
Killed it.
It's amazing, and it's funny because, listen, we get the Asian guys. People can tear that movie apart for all its racial tropes, racism, but yet we love it because we're not fragile.
True. So we're gonna end. You're more. If you want to do another little spill, we can end it now, or we can come back. It's up to you.
We'll have to do it another day. I got a bunch of shit to do.
So let's quickly tell everybody where they can find you, how you want to. Just tell your fans out there in the world, or with the floor is yours. I don't know when it's going to end because you might have 3 minutes. You might have 2 minutes. Go crazy.
Whoever might be out there watching my pal Brett Wood's blogcast, I see you, see me, and I appreciate any support that comes my way from you guys and all the viewership. Anybody who's out there that ever, if you're tuning in, obviously you have some kind of interest invested in me. So I thank you for even sticking around because listen, what have we been talking about? Nonsense. But if you stuck around, I appreciate it, and I see you guys, and you can find me at my social media handles. Unfortunately, I deactivated them yesterday, but because I have to be on next week, some studio people just emailed me asking me why I was deactivated, and here's some more promotional material. Can you put it out there? And I said, I can't activate for a week. They actually lock you down. I deactivated yesterday because I'm just so tired. I'll reactivate next week, and then you can find me at 2 places only. It's not gonna go up to TikTok and YouTube. Never. Facebook, Instagram at Peter Shinkoda. On Instagram, just Peter Shinkoda. On my Facebook, and if you want to reach out, you can direct message me. I try to get back to all of them eventually. Just like you guys.
Can
Very
you give us a quick little thing, a snippet? I think we might have a couple minutes more. I'm blurry. I gotta get glasses again. But can you tell us quickly, because I know you just in like a minute or so, your feelings about the Comic-Con that you just were at in San Diego, I believe.
Yeah, I was at Comic-Con and I had a new show drop, 6-episode season was Casper Van Dien that just came out less than a month ago. It actually premieres on Crackle on September 1st. Subsidiary of it's one of the subsidiaries of this company that also owns Popcorn Flicks. With that app, you can watch Salvage Marines that stars Casper Van Dien, myself, Armando Sante. That premiered on Popcorn Flicks via the app. It's also going to roll over to Crackle, and the whole season will be available on September 1st this year. Also, you can turn into a blog show, a blogcast show, narrative blogcast show I did with Lana McKissick and Manu Bennett from Spartacus. Us three are the leads in it, and that's a narrative broadcast. I believe it's 10 episodes. We're 4 episodes in. Oh, I think the fifth
Really?
episode dropped today. It's called Broken Road. You can find it anywhere broadcasts are. Just look up Broken Road, or you can find it at its home hosted site at recursor.tv/Broken Road. But it's called Broken Road, so that's now I think episode 4. There's like 40.
Okay, real quick. What do you like most about acting?
I love the fact that I have a chance to reach people and make a change in the world. That's what I like. That's what I like about acting. I know that if I'm doing it right, then it might move some people and change the hearts and minds of some people that need hearts and mind changing out there.
What?
It's the oldest form, I think, and the truest form of like teaching is storytelling, right? So you can evoke emotions and
What's your dream role?
Review. Dream role? Anything that they give white guys every day. Anything. Severance. I don't know. Put me on NCIS as a cop holding coffee. LL Cool J's roles.
Friends with friends, friends with friends, friends with friends, it's never going to end. Friends with friends.
I am not Mr. Lebowski. You're Mr. Lebowski. I'm the dude. So that's what you call me, that or his dudeness or...
Friends with friends, friends with friends.